So what happens when a total legend gets a modern makeover? For more than a decade, the Honda CB500X was pretty much the Swiss Army knife of motorcycles. I mean, it was reliable, it was versatile, and just about everyone who rode one loved it. Well, now it's been reborn as the NX500. It's got a new name, a whole new look, and some slick new tech. So let's dive in and see if that old magic is still there.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you're Honda, how in the world do you update a bike that people already adore without, messing it all up? They've had to walk this super fine line between adding modern upgrades and keeping the soul of the original. Let's see if they manage to stick the landing.
To really understand where the NX500 is going, we've got to look at where it's been. This bike didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Nope, it's the result of a decade of slow, steady, and honestly very smart evolution.
Okay, so it all kicked off back in 2013 with a pretty simple road-focused bike, but then something really interesting started to happen. By 2019, Honda noticed that owners were actually taking this thing on trails, so they listened. They gave it a bigger front wheel and more suspension. Then fast forward to 2022, and boom, it gets these high-quality fork and way better brakes. You can see the pattern here, right? Honda's strategy was brilliant and simple. Listen to the riders, see how they're actually using the bike, and just keep refining it. And that whole careful process is what brings us to today's NX500. So, what's really different here? Well, the heart and bones, they're the same. That absolutely bulletproof 471cc engine and the steel frame are still the core of this bike. But the skin and the brain? Oh yeah, they're all new. We're talking aggressive new styling that looks fantastic, a beautiful full-color screen, and, for the very first time, traction control. All right, so what's hiding under all that slick new bodywork? Let's get into the nuts and bolts, because the spec sheet, well, it really tells the story of what makes this bike so capable and just so easy to ride. The engine, right here, this is the star of the show. This 471cc parallel twin is famous for being incredibly smooth, super predictable. It's not some fire-breathing monster, and it's not trying to be. Instead, it gives you good, usable power right where you need it for your daily commute or for exploring some fun back roads. It is the very definition of a willing, reliable partner for the road. Okay, just look at that wait for a second. Honda actually managed to shave 3 pounds off the bike even after adding all that new tech. That is seriously impressive. The rest of the numbers pretty much confirm what we'd expect: a totally manageable seat height, great fuel capacity. Really, everything is designed to make this an incredibly approachable motorcycle. And here it is. This is the knockout punch. After all of those upgrades, the fantastic new look, that beautiful TFT screen, the added safety of traction control, the price only went up by $100. Just $100. In today's market, that is an absolutely insane value proposition. Okay, numbers on a page are one thing, but how does it all actually translate to the riding experience? Let's get into the good stuff, because man, there is a lot to like here. First off, that new rally styling just gives it a real presence on the road. But the changes are way more than just skin deep. The suspension has been reworked on the inside, which gives you a more controlled, more composed ride. And those new lighter wheels, that's a huge deal. They reduce something called unsprung mass, which is basically just the weight that the suspension has to constantly manage. The less of that you have, the more nimble and responsive the bike feels. You put that together with the new tech, and you've got a total game changer for this price point. And this quote from Ride Adventures, it just sums it all up perfectly. The NX500 is a real, tangible improvement in almost every single way, but it does it without sacrificing that core appeal that made the old bike so popular in the first place. But hey, let's be real, no bike is perfect. And to give you the full picture, we have to talk about the quirks and the drawbacks. And a lot of these are actually holdovers from the CB500X. So where does it fall a little short? Well, mostly when you start thinking about serious off-roading. Those foot pegs are rubber, which is great on the street, but they can get super slick in the mud. It's also still a tad heavier than some of its rivals. And if you plan on tackling anything rougher than a gravel road, you're definitely going to want a skid plate to protect that engine. Now, these aren't deal breakers, not at all, but they do help define the bike's limits. This quote really drives that point home, doesn't it? It's a pretty vivid reminder that while the NX500 has that adventure styling, it is, at its heart, an all-around street bike first and an off-roader second. And that's not a bad thing. It's just really important to know what you're getting. So with all the pros and cons laid out on the table, we're here. The final verdict. Is the 2025 Honda NX500 the right motorcycle for you? Let's just break it down. By looking at exactly who this bike is perfectly suited for, you can probably see if you fit the profile.
So let's see if any of these sound like you. Are you a new rider, just starting out? This is honestly one of the best, most confidence-inspiring bikes you can possibly start on. What about a daily commuter? It's a rock-solid, economical workhorse that'll never let you down. Or maybe you're a practical adventurer, someone who loves exploring those winding back roads and just wants total dependability. If you answered yes to any of those, this bike should probably be on your short list. And this final thought from Revzilla might be the most important takeaway of all. They said, it's a bike for riders, not passionate moto people. And it absolutely nails it. This isn't a status symbol, it's not a collector's item, it's a tool. A competent, incredibly reliable machine that's designed for the simple, practical, everyday joy of just riding. And for a huge number of people out there, that makes it just about perfect.